It's a lot of people like profiting in the music business.
Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. Forgot to do it. And this is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. Waiting for the audio. There we go. We're all good to go. Episode number 499. How about that? Tomorrow is the special 500th edition of the show. Fun, looking forward to that. My further financial content, you just scroll past the Oak Island playlist and you'll see the Ramsey Show Aftershow show playlist. See? It does not. Let's see. If I reload it, it'll probably be on there. Yeah, there it is there, and there it is there. 499. And answering your financial questions playlist as well. So well over 800 hours of me telling people they're doing it wrong. And so definitely many more hours than any one person would definitely want to hear from me, for sure. And the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. And that will be the content of tomorrow's 500th episode. I'll be doing all 11 of those. And plus one new one. So that'll be 12 of them. Market report. And you can see I was just checking on the Bitcoin, and it was previously at that same level. Yeah, like around right here, and that's $25,000 lower than it was previously. I mean, or than the previous high, which was like 105,000. And now it's at 80, and so it went right back down to that. And in the last month's down almost 17%. And so still not advised. Even when it was up at the high, it's still not advised because it's not based on anything. The index funds that are represented here are made up of these individual company stocks. These are your biggest ones. And, their stock price is based on what that company has and sells and the income that they will be raking in. And so it's not just a thing where I say, oh, okay, here's this. Okay, now I think this is worth $10. So anybody want to invest in this? That this doesn't do anybody any good at all. So it's not based on anything. And so that's why Mr. Ramsey is not down on the Birch coin. Let's see. And so down again today because, and the people love to say correction, and that means a 10% adjustment. And I've never seen it being referred to correction up. Like a lot of people, I guess that write articles and stuff, they are always looking for the bad news. For sure they are. And so everybody that talks about a correction, they're saying, well, it's artificially high. It's not supposed to be up that high. But then when it goes up, they don't ever say it's a correction and now it's up where it should have been. Nobody ever says that. So it just depends on how you look at it. Where are we? Oh, let's check out the rest of the planet. Let's see, mostly down in Europe, all down in Asia as well. The US dollar up against the euro, down to the Japanese yen, up against the British pound, low, bloody quid, up against the Canadian dollar, sorry CP. And of course, US dollar up against the Australian dollar, mate. Australia wanted to be higher. United States said nar to them. Let's see, no earnings for the next 14 days. All right, that's okay. There'll be plenty of happening that traders will overreact to. But for sure, the most down today was Meta, the artist formerly known as Facebook. Let's see what if there's any news. Ulta had signaling even the beauty industry is slowing down. I would imagine all of them, as prices get higher, people are going to stop buying everything as it gets higher. And that's what you got to do sometimes. You don't just say, oh, well, I still need to buy that. I still need to buy everything, so I'll just put it on the credit card. A lot of people are doing that too, but that's exactly what you shouldn't do. Spirit Airlines, fresh from bankruptcy, is ready to take on the new Southwest. Alrighty then. Hey, got a great idea. Try not to go into bankruptcy again. And you can do that by not having any debt. The world lines up to buy American gas. Okay. Great. Social Security faces uncertain future. Some question whether the program should be privatized. I guess if you mean being run solvently and not always giving out more than is coming in, that's not sustainable. And so that's why it was going to be like eventually phased out. I think it was like newer numbers added a couple years too when that was supposed to be gone. But apparently I'll get it. So sorry to all you youngs out there that may not, but I'll be getting it apparently. Toll road tech scam. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll look up that later and report back if it's something interesting. Compass and talks about Warren Buffett's real estate brokerage unit. Why wouldn't he keep it? Trying to cash out. I mean, he's no spring. Warren Buffett's no spring chicken either, so he may be trying to cash out before he cashes out spiritually. Joe and customers upset by retailers' move to stop taking gift cards ahead of store closures. That doesn't seem moral, does it? So you sold it. You sold the gift card, so you already have the money, and you want it to be the money for nothing, and your chicks for free, so that you can get, thread and fabrics and stuff like that. So you need to give them the fabrics and thread and stuff like that they want to buy with the gift cards. That's crazy. I don't know if you can class action suit them on that. They're already going out of business. NVIDIA down 0.14 today. It was up big. Intel up big, 14.60%, and that will balance out a lot of the ones that went low today. It's not going to maybe not enough to completely get your large cap fund into the green, but it will definitely help. It would wipe out some of these, like up to 15%. So you got to look at it as a whole, and that of course is why you do not buy just one single stock. Not advised by Mr. Ramsey. Little agua here. Again, a memento from when I went to the Ohio State University Hospital. And it could have been the time I think it was the time where I was diagnosed with diabetes, and that was, when was that? 20 years ago. Still here. I'm hanging on just for spite at this point. Or it was in 2015. I think. Is that right? Yeah, 10 years apart. I think 10 years apart. That was 2015. That was when I had a heart attack. Just a baby one, a baby one. Just had to get a stent, no problem since then. And so again, I'm going to be hanging on a very long time so I can annoy people. We are, again, reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And this subreddit, not run by Ramsey Solutions. If you want a group run by Ramsey Solutions, that would be on the Facebook. And it's called like the Ohio State University. It's the Ramsey Baby Steps Community. And if the group says anything other than those words, it's one of the fan groups as well, where even some of the mods on those, I hear reports of, that they even suggest that you do things that aren't Ramsey approved. So, why have a Ramsey group if you're not going to base it on the guy? So that would be like me having a Ramsey show, Aftershow show, and saying, all the opposite advice that Dave gives. What up, Sid? What up, Di? Lovely to have you. And again, yes, another plug for the 500 episode tomorrow. And looking forward to that. Do need to practice some of the songs. I haven't sung that much, but I am going to be doing, it's going to be all musical. It's going to be more like a concert than a musical, but I will be doing all those songs to maximize the copyright stuff that's going to happen anyway. Why not just do all of them if I'm not getting any of the money or only half of it? Xi Jinping. Should we use home insurance to pay for a roof replacement? Well, why wouldn't you? Let's see. This is going to be some long journey. No, not that long. There was a large hailstorm in our area. Half our neighborhood replaced their roof, mostly using their insurance policy. We've had door-to-door salesmen from roof repair companies visiting every day. Of course you have. Saying that it's a golden opportunity to make the insurance company pay for a new roof. My concern is that our insurance might go up as a result of making a claim. Could. And if so, it might cost more than paying cash for a roof in the long run. Could. Also, having a hailstorm doesn't necessarily mean that your house in particular needs a new roof. So you don't want to say, oh, we had a hailstorm, I have to replace the roof. No, that's not a law. It depends on if it has damage or has been weakened in any facet. And so even if you are thinking about getting it done, you definitely have multiple people come to take a look at it. And you do not fall for their bullcrap especially if they're using inflated prices. Does anyone have experience with this? Our roof is 17 years old with lower quality shingles. Now, who told you that? The people that want you to pay them? And did have some minor damage, so it might not be completely wasteful to replace it with something a little better now. We have no debt and enough cash to pay for most of a roof without dipping in emergency funds. But I'm really uncertain about whether it's smarter to pay cash later or use insurance now. Well, nobody can tell you exactly what's going to happen with that, whether your rates will go up or not. Nobody can tell you that. Probably if you call the insurance company, probably they couldn't tell you that either. They'd have to wait to see what happens, and then they do whatever they do, and they reassess, and then at that point it may go up or it might not. Who knows? So, but the reason to get a new roof would not be because, oh, it's good timing now, or everybody else in the neighborhood is doing it. That's not a good reason to it. You need to make sure you need a new roof replacement and not just maybe some shingles replaced. How about, check into that. Check into that. Get a good idea of exactly what you should be looking for as a problem on your roof in order to replace it. And, I get it, because if you're only asking roofers to come and do that want to get your money, They may not give you, they may all be crooked. Who knows? Hopefully not, but it could be. So you might have to be doing some Google research on how to tell whether you need a new roof or not. So yeah, you need to put in some of your time in order to figure this out instead of asking somebody, because nobody's going to know. And how many? 49 comments? Nobody's going to know for sure what exactly is going to happen and what would be the best way for you to do this. Display. That's what I was thinking. Oh, it's an ad. That's what it's like posters with metal backing, the metal posters, and so they last longer. You'll get creases in them and so forth. I was thinking of that a long time ago, trying to remember the name of it. They used to be on a lot of podcasts as sponsors, but not so much anymore. Says a little stress, but she said we will figure things out. That's right. I have the highest of faith in Sid. From JMY Sauced, _ Sauced. Another underscore at the end. Very important. Jimmy _ Sauced without the underscore at the end must have been taken. Baby on the way. Did I do this one yesterday? They do change location sometimes. They do change the order from day to day. Hi all, my wife and I are expecting a baby in July, so we're trying to come up with a strategy for finances, child care. We recently paid off our credit cards, a vehicle, and most consumer debt. We have $22,000 in student loans and $25,000 in a home construction loan left. Our plan is to stockpile cash until baby arrives. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You pause the baby steps. And we estimate we can save close to $20,000 between now and baby's arrival if we literally do nothing except work, eat, and sleep. Do that. One thing we are having a hard time with is childcare plans. We very much would prefer an in-home nanny as opposed to a daycare facility. Estimating $20 an hour times 4 days a week would put us approximately $2,500 a month for daycare. Yeah, it's not cheap. I bring home $3,600 a month and would consider quitting my job to not have to work 40 hours a week and only bring home $1,100 after paying the nanny. Yep. What are some strategies you guys came up with to cover childcare costs while working the steps? Yeah, the lower earning spouse staying home should definitely be considered. So, yeah, so I get it on that, and you can possibly find a way to make the $1,100 per month by doing something else, some kind of side hustle, working part-time, something like that. And it might be a series, a section of time, a hashtag season, as they say, which doesn't necessarily mean 3 months, but a short amount of time in which the parents work opposite of each other, and you don't get to see each other as much, of course, but again, it is only a temporary thing, and that can keep your finances from going crazy for a baby. And also, needless to say, why? Because you still have student loans and such, and so you don't need to be going crazy with buying baby stuff. Obviously, they need diapers, etc., things like that, but they don't need a top of the line crib, for example. You don't need to buy an SUV to transport them in. One baby can ride just fine and safe in a compact car. So just don't go crazy on baby spending. I know you see stuff all the time. Oh, that'd be so cute for the baby. Of course it would. But don't buy it. This critical emotion 762. Needing advice. Oh my goodness. So long story short, doesn't look like it. I was a journeyman lineman and worked for a city. I was making $50 an hour with some decent overtime and take-home truck and free benefits. Did not enjoy the people and hated my drive. Took me 2 hours to get home most days. And when we had our daughter, decided to leave. Alrighty. I'm currently a distribution system operator for a local co-op, making $37 an hour and free benefits and about 50-minute drive. I got a great idea. Why don't you move to where the jobs are? Is what I would think. Possible promotion coming up, which will put me at $40 an hour, and we will get a small 5 to 10% bonus every year as well. And supposedly consistent 5% cost of living raises every year. I absolutely hate my schedule. Well, you're going to find stuff that you don't like in every job. You know, probably the way it sounds. Unless these just happen to be two very bad jobs for you. And then it'll be fine from here on out. But, you know, hey, you know what? People don't like to, you know, if you loved everything about it, it wouldn't be called work then. That's why it's called work. And you tolerate that for those green rectangles that they give you for doing it. I have an opportunity, pretty much an offer, to go to another company as a transmission system operator, where they start pay would be between $38.50 and $40 an hour. Insurance is great. Not free, but really good. Better paid time off. Hellacious retirement package. And once I passed my... once I passed my NERC exam, don't know what that is, can go from $88,000 to $110,000 a year until I finish in-house training, which would take about 6 months to a year. Then pay ranges. You see what all this is? All this is an if. All this is, see so you want to consider the low end of it. So $38.50 an hour. And this, once I pass my NERC exam, who knows if you can pass it? That's the first thing. And that's 6 months to a year. So that's a floating time frame for that to happen, even if you can pass that exam and finish in-house training. And then you bonuses, you don't count on bonuses to make decisions about life. So you have to, you don't want to ever use, the best case scenario, and that's what I'll use, and that'll be great then. And guess what? It seems to me like you might be the kind of person that if all this doesn't happen exactly like you have typed it here, then you'll hate that job as well. It's just a feeling I have. It feels like, for me, that's the way it is. As well as consistent COL rate, cost of living raises. Only kicker is about an hour and a half drive home. I got a great idea. Move to where the freaking jobs are, sir. Or I have an opportunity to go back to being a journeyman lineman, troubleman, love my job, just hated being away from new daughter so much. Again, move to where the jobs are. The job offered $57 an hour, Monday through Friday. Great. All right, great. Benefits decent. PTO again. All right. Staying late. OT from storms and staying late. My pal Sid knows all about storm OT. And we'll make the most overall throughout the year, and a decent bonus system as well. I know I enjoy the job as well. We'll be working by myself. Please give me some insight. I tried to. So, you live too far away from, I would not accept that as a commute. That's too long of a commute. So, move, especially if spouse is not working, move. Or she's making a job that she can make the same or more in where all these jobs are. So you don't have to drive so much. People are nutty. So doesn't mind the drive as much, but hates all the other stuff about the job. But driving that much would make me hate the job too. Oh no, car accident for Mr. Sid. Oh my goodness. I'm assuming he's all fine. Kelly Blue Book hates Sid because she uses ad block. That's right. I mean, all the websites want to make their ad money for sure. HDE Priest, is buying a house worth it right now? Okay, so you see, you do not base it on right now. You buy a house when you can afford it. You don't buy too early to time the market. You know, you don't, like, if all of a sudden prices go down and interest rates go down, you don't buy it if you can't afford it. If you're not in a good place to buy it. That doesn't mean afford the payments. That means afford the house and everything else that comes with it. And so you would not do that. You don't base it on that. You base it when you are in a financial position to buy the house. Dave Ramsey always talks about buying a single family house as the logical next step in a person's finance. Yes, in general it is. It's not a law that you have to buy a house. You can choose to be a renter for life, for sure. And that's the easier step 7 arrival if you're not ever buying a house. But that will also make it take longer for you to be a millionaire, for example, because you don't have the house worth in that net worth calculation. And that eventually will be paid off, and then you won't have to pay a mortgage or rent. And so that is the idea. And so, yeah, for most people, that is going to be the advice. But you would not be buying it, definitely, because you wouldn't even be thinking about that if you were on baby steps 1, 2, and 3, because you have to get baby steps 1, 2, and 3 done before you even start saving for a down payment, which is step 3B. And let's see, Mod said something about Dave considering adding a baby step, and it might be announced today. Well, the website's not changed. Reload. Yep, website's not changed. And I think it might be 3B, because one day I loaded this and I saw a new graphic that had, well, same graphic, but it had baby step 3B in it. And then the next day, because I pull it up every day for the after show, and then when I pulled it up the next day, it was not there anymore. So, and this was like 2 months before the release of the updated Total Money Makeover book. And so I thought, well, maybe it's in conjunction with that, and they'll be having that, come out at the same time. And I don't know if they address baby step 3B more in that updated Total Money Makeover or not, because I've not read it. So I don't know. Where were we before I got totes distracted? A rent 2-bedroom apartment that we like is $900 a month, and a decent house. People always with their decent house. Your words like that we like, and if nobody's saying you shouldn't buy a house that you like, but saying that we like and decent, this means you are thinking you're too good for some cheaper properties that maybe you can actually afford, and instead want something that you can afford. So this is the kind of language that people use in here. And this would be a little thing we like to call, and when I say we, I mean me and George, because I stole it from him. It's called justification station there. So justifying buying too much house because they like it, because that's the only decent price one. Dumb. So let's see, we cost $350K. This puts a mortgage payment at $2,000 to $2,400 a month. Great. So if it's $2,000 a month, that means you need to be bringing in $8K a month. Take home pay. You're welcome for figuring that out for you. Taxes, insurance, utilities are included in our rent and normal repairs on a house. 1.5% of the home value annually would cost $800 a month. Yeah, it could cost more than that. Sure. Almost as much as our rent. This is on top of the mortgage and would still happen even after the mortgage is paid off, right? So I'm waiting to see what we make about 140 gross a year, and about $8,800 a month net. Okay, so with that, you could barely afford that mortgage payment, because that would be just a little bit under the 25%. So that's fine to do, but yes, houses will come with their other their additional expenses for sure. Because if something breaks, you don't call the landlord. You can call the landlord, but then your phone will ring because that's you at that point if you have a mortgage. Saving about $6K a month. We have $60,000 in cash, so we can do a 20% down payment. And by my math, we could pay off the house in about 5 years. Yeah, that's great. That's the exact plan to do. And the more you put down, the lower that payment will be as well. Overall, we can easily afford a house, but it just doesn't seem worth tripling our housing cost. Well, I think you might be over-exaggerating on the taxes, insurance, utilities that are included. And with the utilities being included in the rent, that does add some things. I mean, like air conditioning, if electricity is included, how is that possible? That's a good deal. I don't know who you're renting from, but yeah, I mean, you get free AC. You can make it as cold as you want in the summertime, and you can make it as hot as you want in the wintertime when you're not paying for it, for sure. And so, my name is Paul, and that's between y'all. I don't have to live in either place and deal with any of the finances that are going on there. So you're the one that needs to make that decision. But I can see your dilemma. Where are we at? Taking on the risk, huge liability. We're already happy where we are. However, I do understand the fear or thought that houses will continue to get more expensive, right? And higher rates. Nobody knows when either of those will go down. Which is the main reason we have been looking in the first place. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on what you think we should do. Thank you for the help. Not being in the situation, I don't know what I would do. If I was actually in that situation and did have to face taking on the additional expense in order to have a house, I might think twice on that before leaving the cushy rent situation. Especially if you're happy there. So I mean that's up to you, and you can keep the savings happening. And if you're just saving money and you don't have anything else to do with that money, I mean, you could invest more, because at that point you would be in baby step 7. Now, all this, of course, this is not even a conversation unless step 3 is done and step 2 is done. So you wouldn't be having these savings, which people do all the time. They keep other debt around and save a down payment. And that is not the way you do the baby steps. You do not buy a house until you are on step 3B, which is the down payment. And you do not do step 3B, start saving for that, until the first 3 steps are done. So doesn't mention that. So that would take it all off the table if there's any non-mortgage debt. You would not be doing any of this. Sinking funds too high. Well, yeah. So the idea is that you can have sinking funds for known upcoming expenses above the emergency fund, but you should only have the emergency fund and any sinking funds that have a specific name on them. So there's not like a general slush fund that you should be saving until you're in step 7, and then you can have as much different savings and investments as you want. But you should be only doing 15% once you get to step 4, 15% of investing, and you shouldn't be doing any more than that either. And you shouldn't be having, baby step 2. Okay, if you think they're too high, the person that actually said, let's have a sinking fund for that, and you think they're too high, I'm going to go with you and say that's too high. Let's see what the dealio is. Baby step 2, we have a good handle on our extra payment every month to our credit card debt. Yeah, it's probably not enough if you think the sinking funds are too high. And they probably are. Let's see, we have a lot of sinking funds for annual expenses throughout the year, all the way down to a $1.73 transfer for renewing our licenses. Okay, that's a little bit nerdy. I would just cash flow that and leave that out of my budget. That's just me. That's just me. I don't sweat the little stuff like that because you could just cash flow it. It seems like a waste of time to do that. But you know, it's better to have all of them than not enough of them tracked, for sure. So that's the good part of it. We have an automatic transfer happen every pay period to move the individual sinking funds to a high interest savings account since they are only annual expenses. The problem is that now our sinking fund account is almost the full amount of the credit card we are trying to pay down next. The monthly credit card payment is not even close to what we will need at any given time to cover one of the larger sinking funds. I guess my question is, at what point is it time to do a good chunk of my sinking fund account into the debt? So I would want to know how much it is. Let's see, 17 comments. Let's see, I would like to know how much it is in there. But basically the dealio is, it is January. I mean, it's March, actually. It's March now. So, but, you know, only 3 months into the year. And so if you can be out of debt and then basically cash flow all these annual expenses, of course, they may not be all due at the same time, but that also could help you being able to cash flow them instead. And in that case, if you can do that, if you're sure you will have the money for those annual expenses, also see if some of the annual expenses can be dropped. If it's like, I don't know, subscription for 8 different movie channels, I'm going to go ahead and say maybe on baby step 2, you drop 7 of them. How about that? But let's see. I'm just wondering how much is in there. And what the freak kind of annual expenses you have. I mean, something that might be in there might be for insurance. You probably can't, I don't know if you can pay it for a year in advance, but you can pay it for every premium. So you can pay it like 6 months in advance and get a little difference here. Let's see. Sinking fund for items you can't budget for, right, which means basically cash flow. Another person saying he wouldn't attract the $1.73. That's excessive. But again, better to be all over it than not all over it. It does not seem that OP, the original poster, has weighed in at all, unless I missed it while I was babbling. Yeah, that's going to be a no. So yeah, I would want to know what that is and what I would like to see the list, basically. And I assume it's going to be a long list if he's tracking $1.73 transfers as well. So, but that's the dealio on that. You want to make progress on baby step 2. And if you are being too cautious by trying to sinking fund these things, like if, for example, if you already have enough money, if you already have enough money in that sinking fund right now to pay for everything throughout this current year, then that is too much to have in there. Yeah. So, and the only reason you get to have sinking funds, again, is for a known upcoming expense that you cannot cash flow. If you can cash flow it, again, there's no need for a sinking fund for it, but it sounds like they have one account that has all the sinking fund items in it, and so, or money for all the sinking fund items. So I would like to know what that is. But of course, as oftentimes on the Reddit and on the Ramsey show, we do not get all the information, and so we never get closure on that. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. Oh, that's right. Sid hadn't sold the other car yet. So that works to be used as a car still. Dajo PR mixed debt avalanche yearly/monthly. I have a number of finance notes with monthly payments. Okay, that means loans, a mortgage, vehicles, credit card. Yep, and a number with yearly payments. Equipment, real estate. I have never. So you wouldn't have real estate. So that's a no. So you would not have real estate. I've never found a debt snowball or avalanche with the option to mix these. Is the best option to continually pay down the highest per diem note when there is no cash to pay ahead? No, you would sell stuff. You would not have real estate property while you're on baby step 2. You would not have the real estate investment property. Like for a rental, you would not have that. You would sell that. So, you see, you don't get to just automatically keep everything, every dumb thing you've acquired with debt when you start the Ramsey plan. The idea is that you get out at most in 3 years. And if you can't pay everything off in 3 years, that's when you got to sell something like dumb, expensive, brand new cars and buy a beater. Or either, even if it's not a beater, a way less expensive car with cash. And you can do that by selling your dumb real estate and stop debt leveraging. Are you familiar with Mr. Ramsey? He's the no debt guy. And so that's the deal they got. But this person trying to, continue to pay down the highest per diem note when there's a blah, 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 when there's cash to pay it. Yeah. Yeah. So no. Everything you're doing there is bad. Let's do, haven't done that one in a while. Oh, where are we at? This Yanosh from Ghostbusters 2.
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
Yeah. So you don't do that. And so basically what you do, and a lot of people don't think of this thing, when they find Dave Ramsey, and they find that the baby steps, and they said, oh yeah, this will be a good thing to do. This is what I should absolutely do. For some reason, they don't ever think, oh, baby step 2, pay off debts from smallest to largest using debt snowball. Oh. Why is my mic up so high? Hopefully I hadn't been cutting out. Wow. All right. Sorry about that. It didn't seem like it was when I first started talking. Of course, I've been raising my voice a little bit. So hopefully it didn't short out there. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So when baby step 2 says pay off all the debts, and that's all the non-mortgage debt. And so that's like your vehicles. And then also that could be, you could sell that and things you bought with the dumb credit cards. And this equipment that you bought as well, you could sell that, and that way you're reversing the dumb stuff you did that if you followed the Ramsey advice to begin with, you would have never bought 10, like the real estate. So that's a no on that one. That's a nar, as they say in Australia. But people don't think about that ever, because people do like to have everything. They want to have everything, and they also want to be out of debt too. Most of them. Some people don't care, and that's fine. But then probably the Ramsey advice is not for you. Then we can still be friends, but we're not going to agree on that. And there's no need for you to be posting on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, I wouldn't think. But it is a free country, and then I get to talk about it, so I'm obviously fine with it. But it's illogical. Constant house 3399. Well, you do want your house to be there constantly. Hopefully it's not constant house problems, but we'll find out here. Need help with budgeting. Okay, so how you budget, especially on baby step 2, is you do not spend any money that's not 100% necessary, a necessity. You spend only money on necessities. Let's see. Hey, I'm wanting some real help with my budget already. I feel like, for me, I'm not taking advantage of how little I have to pay for. 28, single mom. I work Monday through Friday for 9 hours a day. This is my budget. My goal. Oh, Oh, okay. It's short. It's not a long list. All right. I was kind of hoping for it to be a long list. My goal is to be set up for future financially and basically to thrive money wise. All right. Seems like the same thing. Feel free to private message me and ask me questions. Fun times. People will do that since you ask, I'm sure. Oh, I live in North Carolina, if that makes a difference. Not really. Earnings every month, $21.48. Groceries, $400. Single mom. Okay, so if it is a baby and diapers are included in the groceries, then I'll give you more of a break on that. But we might be spending too much on food there for one single mom and one baby. We might be spending a little bit too much there. Gas, 120. I never know where all these people are driving to. These people must like to go way more places than I like to go. So I can't really relate on that. Or they only live an hour away from the job. Rent, $667. That's not bad at all. Car insurance, $50. So great. They don't live in the state up north, the highest car insurance in the United States. My debt and credit card, $3,000. Thank you in advance. Yeah, so, I mean, this is only, see, this is the problem too. Groceries, $400, gas, $120, even if you do have to do $120 in gas. So that's $520, and that is $11.87, $12.37. That's $12.37, babe. Where's the other $9.48 or $8.48? Where's that going to? So in the budget, you need to have all that taken care of. Where is that going? Is all that going to debt? All that should be going to debt. And I think you can cut some of these out. Quit going and doing places. Quit going to places all the time. Don't spend as much as at the grocery store. And then you can get out of baby step 2 faster. And that is the idea. Fun times. Hopefully somebody told her something like that. Shine Greymon. Greymon X. Would you keep saving or pay it off all at once? Okay, so people are nutty and they must not know how to do math. Let's say the person has about $11,000 in their savings. Now, if you had debt, loans, that counts as debt. So you immediately stop and say, oh, that's baby step 2. I wonder how much my emergency fund, how much in savings should I have at this point? That would be $1,000 only. So why do you have $10,000 extra in savings? You're doing it wrong. 4,400 that they have left. Let's say the person has this person's exact numbers. They have about 4,400 with interest. Interest rate doesn't matter at all. You pay off smallest to largest amount. So you would be doing the loans in this numerical order that you have put them in. Is it better for them to use the remaining money to get rid of those student loans? Are you talking about the savings? Yes. It's not remaining. It's money you shouldn't have saved anyway. So you would take that down to $1,000, and that's $10,000 where you can get rid of loan number 1 and loan number 2, and then start on the student loans. Or keep saving while paying the loans at the same time. No, that's debt leveraging. You're keeping a debt around in order to have savings. That's No, that's not how I thought this was going to go. I'll explain in a moment. Even then, they would like to build up 6 months of their emergency fund. Thank you. Well, they would like to, but they're doing it wrong if they do that. You do not have 3 to 6 months of your emergency fund done while you still have debt. You do not do all the baby steps at the same time. You do step 1 first before doing any other one. You do step 2 first before doing any other one higher than that. And then you get step 3 done before you do 4, 5, and 6. And 4, 5, and 6 are all together in that priority order, though. So, but what I thought so that's dumb. So you're not understanding. You have an understanding problem of the baby steps, which happens far too often for my taste. But I guess people just don't understand, and it doesn't specifically say on the steps. And here's the official Dave Ramsey version of the graphic. And if you click on learn more, it may tell you a little bit about it, but unfortunately it doesn't say save $1,000 we start emergency fund. It doesn't say, and hey, you don't save any other cent, not 1 cent more to savings. No, 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 no. All your money goes to step 2. And then on step 2, there's a lot of stuff like that, where people, you have to tell people, apparently, some people, you got to tell them, spell everything out for them. Granted, I think it's rote for me because I watch the show, but even a lot of people that say they watch the show all the time, they still don't know this stuff. But the way I thought this was going to be was the way people ask a lot of times, should I send the payment off? Should I pay extra every month? Or should I save a bunch of money first and then pay it off? They don't know how interest works then, apparently. So, and the same thing would be in the opposite case of you not paying off debt, but you investing the money. You don't save up a lump sum and then invest it either. You do it as you have it, and then you get the advantage of all the little growth spurts between the time when you would have invested the lump sum. You missed out on all that growth by not investing that as you go. So anything should be paid off as you go, and investing should be as you go as well. No lump sums in either of those things. Now you can do a lump sum though now because you do have a $10,000 in savings, and so that would get you completely out of debt, would it not? And so why the heck do you have $10,000 in savings while you have debt? How does that make any sense to you? Once you even, if you watch Dave for 2 seconds, you realize, oh, he's the no debt guy. And so how does that, I don't understand how that just works in people's minds to where they would do that. But this is incredibly normal, having debts and then they have tons of savings as well. Dumb as crap, but it does happen. All right, and as always, we forget to switch back to the chat. What up, James? Better late than never. Appreciate it. Where are we? Broken Fridge, extension Triacle 139. This is why we do this, all right? Yeah, for broken anything that you need to replace, yes. Several years ago, we hit a breaking point with our finances and credit cards. We worked hard and paid it off, and finally have almost a fully funded emergency fund. Our 17-year-old fridge has been acting strange. That's funny. I just pictured it like if a human being was acting strange and the fridge doing the same thing. And I've been repairing it for the last 3 months. Today it had a new error code. Instead of fixing it, we are paying cash to replace it with a new fridge. Well, I mean, that might be overreacting as well, because if it's like small things that you get an error code, and I will let you know if I ever come across a fridge that gives an error code. I have not ever been in a situation where I would use one that new, and so spoiled. But anyway, if it's like just because basically, you know, you're just looking at there's a computer interface with it. So it's just got a small computer in there. And so if it's just small stuff and you can easily repair it for the last 3 months, you would continue to do that. Now, just like a car, it can get excessive, and there is a time to call a time of death on the old car and on the old fridge as well. So, and especially if it's something to fix which is beyond your scope. And so that's everybody's individual decision. And so, and now this is a lot easier to do since you do almost have the fully funded emergency fund. But is it an emergency? Like if you could just fix it again, you can do that. You can fix it again and complete the fully funded emergency fund, and then see how long the fridge will last instead of immediately committing to that just because it had how many? Well, it doesn't say how many, but just for the last 3 months. Does that mean it had one error code before, or two in the last 3 months, or you know, multiple? I mean, if it had 10, then yeah, maybe today's new one that might be the last straw there. But you want to be kind of logical about this stuff and less emotional. Let's see, we're paying cash to replace with a new fridge. Nothing super fancy, just a basic replacement fridge. If it gives an error code, that would be something super fancy to me. So anyway, several years ago, we would have played the store credit card game, right, to charge and pay off. This is just a minor inconvenience financially, and that's the idea. That's the idea. It's a minor inconvenience when stuff like this happens. And then you would have to, of course, you never finished your emergency fund, and so then you're set back some more. Hopefully you didn't pay that much for the new fridge. And I'm dreading emptying the fridge, ate more than money spent. Okay, great. For those of you who are working the steps, so final words of knowledge. It really is worth it to get out of the debt. Well, that much is certain. We knew that already. Alrighty, and so what do we have coming up for tomorrow? We have primary residence flipping as a path to paid off mortgage. No. Well, I don't know. We'll see. This isn't automatically like, we'll turn that into a rental and keep that mortgage too and get another mortgage. So that might not be the same thing. Because if you were just going to sell it, that's what you would do anyway. And sinking fund, what is it for? Just like, what is it good for? What is it and what it's for? Okay, so we'll get into all that mañana. That means tomorrow. Oh, actually, we won't. We'll have to do that on Monday because tomorrow is all singing. So if you don't want to hear me sing, you may not want to come by, or you can just come by and just be in the chat, and you can mute me. I will understand. I will have to get that sound level thing fixed before that. Let's see. See if there's anything that's in the chat. That's suggestion. Big breakfast and chicken and rice. Sounds yummy, Die. Alrighty. So again, tomorrow, 500th episode. And 500th episode means that you people, you lucky dogs, you get to experience the joy of the songs. How to do the baby steps right, and Dave Cation certainly deserves it. Dave Cation, time to get away. And actually that song is less about Dave than the other personalities that host while he's gone. And you belong debt free. You belong debt free. And that's what gives financial peace. Oh, that's what gives financial peace. And the baby stepping song, that is the what is that one? That one is the Dua Lipa song, to Levitating. I guess that's why we all watch Rachel Cruz. Lifestyle creep. Instead be a widow. Why the heck are you in debt? Debt fought Warsaw and Warsaw won. Debt fought Warsaw and Warsaw won. John Deloney. And of course, if you want to have financial peace, then you should do the baby steps. So all that will happen tomorrow. That's not the one that I wanted to do. I wanted to go back to my page. There it is. There we are. And so that, yeah, by episode 500 tomorrow. Quite a milestone. Very, very excited about it. You can, of course, if you got money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. And you can do that. And my email address is coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can email me about financial stuff, about stuff on my YouTube channel, or anything else on your mind. Donations, you can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney, or to CashApp at $CoachSteveMoney, or Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, until further notice, Monday through Friday, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks so much to everybody that has done that already. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.